I don't know why, but for some reason, the entrepreneur tag has become one of the biggest things that most new podcasters believe themselves to pursue. It's a very baffling thing, and it's one of the most damaging things to any new podcaster's journey. So I want to just dispel some myths around this entrepreneur tag and dig into that here today on the Podcast Accelerator. I'm your host, of course, Mark Asquith, CEO and founder of Rebel-Based Media, where we make podcasting technology, including Captivate.fm, the world's only growth-oriented podcast host. Go ahead and grab your free 7-day podcast hosting trial at Captivate.fm. And also, a big shout-out to the team at AWeber who sponsor this show. Of course, the email marketing provider that I use for all of my business with Rebel-Based Media, Captivate, the Academy, podcast websites, and much, much more. They've been a sponsor of the show since day one. And, of course, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that I believe they are the best placed email marketing provider to help you to build relationships with your listeners. So please, if you're not already doing this, go and start to build some friendships using AWeber at markasquith.com/AWeber. Now, the amount of podcasters that I speak to every single day who tag themselves as a first-time, quote-unquote, entrepreneur because they start a podcast is staggering. But being entrepreneurial is amazing. We know that. That's all good. However, we have got to be realistic about the other skills that we need first. So let me paint a picture for you. You start a podcast and suddenly you think you're an entrepreneur because one day you might make money through that podcast. You have no other business. You have never been in business before and you've just kind of been working, or this is your side hustle. There is nothing wrong with that at all. But let me be absolutely clear. The thing you do not need to do is chase the tag entrepreneur. You need to chase money. There's a difference between calling yourself an entrepreneur and getting a check. There is a difference, all right? Why am I saying this? Because look, how many YouTubers do you see that start a YouTube channel as their only means of doing anything? So they don't have businesses and YouTube's not a marketing channel for them. They just create a YouTube channel. How many of those guys that say, well, I'm an entrepreneur? Not that many. They say they're YouTubers, all right? So when you start a podcast, the last thing I want you to do is say, I'm an entrepreneur. You're not. You're a podcaster. If you're an entrepreneur, the 35,000 ridiculous, silly ideas that come across your desk every single day from people wanting to partner with you and exploit you for your audience will seem like good ideas because entrepreneurs do 1,000 things, don't they? Well, no. You need to be a podcaster. You need to learn what it takes to be a successful podcaster. What numbers do you need to monitor, measure, and grow? How do you generate revenue through that podcast? How do you build money on the back end? How do you generate income through your podcast? Once you've done that, and you've done it a couple of times, and you've done it over 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 years and built a couple of other businesses on the side, when you have a side hustle that isn't your podcast because your podcast is your main thing, then you can maybe start to call yourself an entrepreneur. Now, I'm not poo-pooing that. If you want to call yourself an entrepreneur, all well and good. All well and good, but please be realistic about the things that you need to learn first. Basic marketing, basic web management, basic content creation, basic logistics of getting something out there, all right? They're the absolute base requirements for becoming a podcaster that can generate some revenue. Now, like I said, if you want to be an entrepreneur, cool, go ahead and do that, but have a plan of how you're going to make money through your podcast. Don't just call yourself an entrepreneur because you've created this side hustle. There's nothing charming about being an entrepreneur. It's tiring. It is absolutely knackering. You will be tired, and there'll be days when you want to quit. There'll be days when you're absolutely elated. But the tumultuous nature of an entrepreneurial pursuit is one thing that no one ever tells you. You don't need to go through that. Just be a damn good podcaster. Build your numbers, all right? Build your numbers and decide what is the 1 or 2 methods of monetization that you want to pursue. If it's sponsors, you need to market the hell out of your show to generate some downloads. If it's on the back end, you need to generate some downloads, but you need to find ways of engaging with your audience so they buy what you ask them to buy, all right? So please don't just stop. Don't publish something and just say, right, that's me done. I'm an entrepreneur now. I don't have to do the marketing work. And then in 2 years, like many other quote-unquote entrepreneurs, you'll flip and you'll flop and you'll switch. I know podcasters that have been on our platforms for years and years and years and have changed their focus at least 10 times over the last 5 years because they are calling themselves entrepreneurs instead of saying, I am great at this one particular niche topic. I am going to make money in this topic. They flip and flop and change domain names and change podcasts, and nothing gets any traction because they are too focused on calling themselves an entrepreneur rather than doing what is needed to become an entrepreneur. All right. Now that is the big difference. Okay. Walk the walk. Don't worry about talking the talk. Think it through. All right. How many big, high quality, high-profile business people do you know that call themselves entrepreneurs? I can't think of one. I cannot think of one. Jeff Bezos. What do you do, Jeff? CEO of Amazon. Branson. What do you do? I created Virgin. They rarely call themselves entrepreneurs. They just do what they do. So don't chase the tag. All right? Please don't chase the tag. I know that's a bit of a rant, but I don't care. I think it's important. So, listen, thank you for joining me. It's a real pleasure to be able to rant at you. Thank you for joining me on 151 episodes of the Podcast Accelerator. This week, I have a bonus episode coming out. A bonus episode coming out this week that I want you to help me with. It's a favor. I want you to listen to the show. It's going to be a short one, and I want you to do the thing that I ask you to do inside that show, please. It will take you about 30 seconds. It won't require any transactions, won't require any data. I don't want your email address. I don't want any of this. I want you to help me test something by pressing one button on a web page. All right? Please help me do that. Look out for the bonus episode in your feed. I promise you that bonus episode will be less than 5 minutes long, and it will help us out immensely. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay safe, stay healthy wherever you are. Look after yourself, look after each other, and never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.